So we find that the slope here is 3/4, right? Okay, so it's like we're going from 1,1 up to 1.1, 1.075, and the slope here is 0.75, and the slope here, and actually I kind of messed that point up, so let me move it up here just a little higher, because from this point out to, well, let me put it where it would be if we followed this line, okay? Actually, I had it right. Forget it. Okay? So here we have the point 1.1, 1.075, and now we've got a slope that's a little bigger than it was. Okay? Roughly 10% bigger. 10% steeper. Okay? This means that if we're trying to follow this rule for the slope should actually be changing between here and here, right? Which means we don't have a straight line. We've got a curve, and it's probably curving upward, because as we move to the right, t is going to get bigger. And as we move upward, y is going to get bigger, so the slope is going to get bigger. Okay, now we could have more complicated rules where it becomes even hard to figure out whether it's getting bigger or smaller. You got to do numerical calculation. And even then, you don't completely trust it. Okay? So, what we're after is the curve that actually follows this slope rule. Okay? So we expect there's an actual curve put it this way, following the slope rule. Why would I write an E there? Except to mess up the board. Following the slope rule, we expect a concave up curve. And I'll say the straight line clearly violates the slope rule. Not by much. You know, slope doesn't change by all that much, but clearly we have to be curving away from here, right? Okay? So, two things. We have a fairly good approximation to where we would be if we followed the ideal curve. This isn't too far off, but it is a little bit far off. Okay? However, we can't calculate slopes for an infinite number of points along here. So we can't get the accurate curve just by calculating point to point, and we don't have time to do an infinite number of points, obviously. Okay? So it's a little bit complicated what we actually do. One thing we can do is we can come closer to the point that we would have out here if we average these two slopes and then recalculate where we would be starting from this known point. We'll come a lot closer. Okay? So we improve the accuracy we can improve our prediction. It says prediction. Okay? by averaging our slopes and recalculating the t equals 1.1 point. Okay?